let's talk a minute about the GE's Corporate Executive Council. Now, you did serve on that.
Yes, I did.
And what were your primary responsibilities? And being on this council, did it help you? And in what ways as a PR
it was
practitioner?
Mainly for me, well, I think for most people there, it was really an information exchange, sharing experience. Met quarterly for 2 days at Crotonville, which is GE's executive training center, management training center. And it would be the heads of all the major businesses, plus the senior corporate staff officers. So there'd be, between 25 and 30 people there at any time. And each of the businesses would give a report. And it wasn't supposed to be a dog and pony show kind of report. It was going to be, what issues we're facing and how we were proposing to deal with them, that kind of a thing. And people would chime in. And, somebody might be facing a certain issue and somebody else might have dealt with the same issue 2 years ago. And it was a big information. It was kind of freewheeling. The only set part of the agenda was the order in which people were going to make their little presentations. Otherwise, it wasn't like, 10 minutes here or 15 minutes here. It was very organic as far as, as needed for a conversation. And a lot of ideas were put forward there, kicked around, concepts. It was just, for me, I didn't have to do anything except listen. And occasionally, well, Joyce, what do you think, the PR impact would be, or what do you think the reaction would be? I would make that kind of contribution, but I didn't have a lot of, I didn't do a lot of talking. I listened. It was incredibly educational for me, and it really was great. And that's why Jack had the meetings, because he used them to find out, a lot of things that were going on, and to get interaction and to have ideas exchanged.
Right, right. So everyone knew what the other person was up to.
Right.
Were you ever in an experience when Jack Welch would refuse your counsel, and you felt so strongly about it? Well, conflicts would arise.
Yeah, Jack, as I said, is a very strong personality. However, he didn't want yes people around him. He most assuredly didn't want people who would just agree with everything. He liked pushback. There's no question about it. And so we'd have some pretty good back and forth. And when I felt that I was right, I mean, I'd be tenacious, and showing him why, and marshaling facts, not just emotion, but facts. And in those cases, he eventually, would see my point, because I was just so, I knew I was right. I knew I was right. And because I just had a different perspective than he did. And some of the things were silly, and some of them were quite serious. But no, he valued good advice.
Good. Yeah. Was there ever comments, problems that the argument or the advice was coming from a woman, and the way everyone else would interpret what was happening, would it be different when the arguments were between you and Jack Welch, and when it would be between another male counterpart?
Oh, he abused all of us. It was he was an equal opportunity abuser when he was, in a nice sort of way. I mean, he it was fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's go back to counselors here. So the aim of the Arthur Page Center, which is located at Penn State University, and the Arthur Page Society is to help individuals become counselors to leadership. How do you prepare yourself for something like that, to be a good counselor?
Well, I think first of all, you better have a pretty good knowledge of the subject matter that's involved in this, whatever industry or whatever it is. I think that knowledge is so important, and you have to make decisions from a point where you know something. So I think clearly just become an absolute expert on whatever is at hand here. And I think you have to show that you're a team player. I think you have to Obviously, always tell the truth, and that's, like I said, always tell the truth in every situation. But I think you have to be candid. You have to be very candid. You have to know when to fight back. But you have to be armed with facts. Really, I think that knowledge and the ability to communicate clearly, first to the leadership that you're trying to counsel, and then subsequently communicate to whatever the larger audience is, whether it's, you know, the media or government or Wall Street or employees. And so I think that those communication skills, the ability to think and communicate clearly, is absolutely, absolutely essential. I'm appalled today that so many people really can't seem to write. I think that, you know, I go around saying everybody should take News Writing 101. It teaches you how to write clearly and concisely. Because I used to get all these job applications from people claiming their great communication skills and great research skills. Well, half the time they spelled my name wrong. Great research skills you have there, kid. And the letters would be so ungrammatical. It was just like, you know, people can't write today. And I take pride in it, and I like it when others do too. Yeah.
If you were hiring, let's say you're back in the business world, you were hiring some, let's say some students coming out of Syracuse come to you and they want a position. What are those characteristics besides the writing skills? What other characteristics are you looking for from students?
High energy.
Okay.
Okay, definitely communication skills, obviously, both written and spoken. High energy, something, a pattern of accomplishment, that they've done something and stuck to it. Maybe some, you know, actual writing under deadlines, like working. I always like kids who are editors of college newspapers. Mm-hmm. I just think that shows, number one, a dedication to the craft, and number two, you know they're not getting edited particularly, so you read it and see that maybe they can write and they can write under deadline, but high energy is, I can't, and also likable. You know, I always had as my theory that there's probably 100 people out there, or 100,000 people out there who can do this job. You know, you're going to have lots of people who technically can do this job, but you're going to spend 10 hours a day with that person. So make sure it's somebody you want to spend 10 hours a day with. You know, it's true though.